a.m. coming up, 5 minutes to it. Let me give you 3 scores to wrap it up this morning. OUAA hockey, Western 10, Ryerson Rams 3. In basketball, first game of the league. We'll be covering some of this starting on Saturday. McMaster 87, Brock 63. And the USSR Soviet team that's touring Canada beat the Canadian Olympic team again, this time in Ottawa. Final score, 5-0 for the Soviets. And coming back to wrap up the morning will be Dan McLean and Meriwether Hayes. Please stay with us if you're awake.
It's here, the ultimate from the brick. The brick breaks through with the most incredible offer ever. No down payment, no interest until $1989 on all home furnishings and $1988 on a wide selection of appliances, televisions, video recorders, and stereos. Buy a wireless remote VHS video recorder for only $396. Make no down payment and just 12 payments of $33 with no interest at all. The brick breaks through. Get it before it's gone.
If you can't read this, you're not alone. Nearly 72,000 people in the Hamilton area have difficulty reading and writing. This makes everyday life difficult and can keep a good worker down. Adult Basic Education can help. Call the hotline at 527-2222. This free confidential service will let you know how to improve basic reading, writing, spelling, and math skills, continue your education, or learn more English. One call can make a world of difference. 527-2222.
Your skin has a biorhythm all its own. And now, from Japan, Shiseido Biotechnology responds. BH24 Day-Night Essence, the moisture magnet. Protection by day, replenishment by night. Shiseido BH24 Day-Night Essence. 4 drops a day, radiance tomorrow. This and the special Shiseido bonus are waiting for you now at Simpson's.
When I remember how my brother used to tease me. Oh, he was terrible. It's amazing that we grew up to be good friends. But of course we did. And I was surprised how much I missed him after I left Holland. Brothers have a way of growing on you, I guess.
Saturday calls to many European countries are only $1.50 a minute. Pay a little, visit home.
According to the chairman of the Commons Finance Committee, we won't have to worry about new tax hikes in the next federal budget. Mississauga MP Don Blencairn says the federal deficit reduction scheme is working perfectly, and Michael Wilson won't need new tax revenues next spring. Ontario Liberal riding associations are preparing for the next provincial election. Premier Peterson has not yet set a date. However, area Liberals are on a talent hunt for potential candidates. Hamilton Alderman Shirley Collins and Brantford Mayor David Newman are being encouraged to take advantage of the surge in Liberal popularity. George Sostak looks at some of the preparations.
This is truly a magic moment.
That magic moment for David Peterson and his minority governing Liberals has been improving since the last election a year and a half ago. With a pledge to keep the Liberal New Democratic Accord intact for 2 years before calling an election, Ontario Liberals are just poised for an election sometime after that 2-year mark in May. Premier David Peterson's popularity has surged above 40% in public popularity polls. That's well ahead of the 2 opposition parties. Area riding associations are already trying to persuade potential winners to seek Liberal nominations. Hamilton Ward 5 Alderman Shirley Collins was narrowly defeated in the last provincial election by one of the strongest NDP seats in Ontario held by Bob McKenzie in Hamilton East. But this time, Collins is wanted to run in Wentworth East, a riding with new boundaries. Incumbent Conservative Gordon Dean is rumored to be quitting provincial politics. He has called a news conference for Friday morning.
I have been approached by the Liberals to run again, and I said I would seriously consider it, which is what I'm doing. I haven't made a decision one way or the other. I guess at this point all I can say is I'm leaning towards not running.
Another attractive candidate could be Brantford Mayor David Newman. He was invited by Brantford Liberals to seek the party nomination in an attempt to defeat Conservative incumbent Phil Gillies. Newman is seriously considering the invitation despite the fact that as a token NDP candidate in 1971, he was defeated by Robert Nixon in the Brant-Oxford-Norfolk riding. In Hamilton West, where New Democrat Richard Allen is respected by all parties as a good member, Liberals are eyeing McMaster University President Alvin Lee. although Dominic Agostino, a separate school trustee and unsuccessful candidate on Hamilton Mountain in 1985, is very ambitious.
I would look at running, and I would look at running in Hamilton West, which takes in about 30 to 40% of the old Hamilton Mountain riding. It takes in the West Mountain plus part of Westdale, and that's the seat that we're aiming for. I live in that riding, and I feel very comfortable running in Hamilton West this time, and I feel confident that I will win the seat.
Although area Liberals don't know when the Premier will make the election call, they are wasting no time in getting prepared. Some speculation is that voters could go to the polls as early as this summer. In Hamilton, George Sostak, Newsroom, Late Edition.
There may be a growing emergency in the Oakville-Halton ambulance service. Several complaints about the abilities of the service to fulfill its mandate have sparked concern in the region. Tonight, Bill Shackleton begins a two-part series looking into the situation.
Yes, I'm very concerned about the emergency service with respect to ambulance service.
Councillor Fred Oliver has asked Oakville Council to take action to improve ambulance service. He says last Friday there were 2 calls for resuscitator assistance in opposite ends of the town, but there was no ambulance in Oakville. The fire department handled the calls.
And as it turned out, the one ambulance took 18 minutes to arrive at the west end of Oakville from Mississauga.
Oliver says there are 2 ambulances to serve Oakville much of the time, but one is used extensively to transfer patients as far as Toronto.
So as a result, we have 1 vehicle around the clock for emergency calls. On Saturdays and Sundays, we have 1 vehicle to serve both purposes. And in my opinion, with the major highways, with the increase in traffic and the number of accidents we have and the increase in population, that is not enough service.
Spokesmen for the firm which supplies the ambulances say they do the best they can with the resources they have available. Allocation of ambulances is a provincial responsibility. A health ministry official said the ambulance responding to the call was in an accident. He refused further comment pending receipt of a report. The fire department provides backup service on resuscitator calls.
The last couple of months, we've had, I believe it's 13 calls to assist them since November.
That's almost half the number of calls for the entire year.
In my opinion, that they do need more personnel, yes.
Councillor Oliver has requested that municipal officials meet with the provincial health ministry with a view to improving the ambulance service in Oakville. There have also been complaints about ambulance service in Burlington. We'll have more on this story tomorrow.
I don't know how it's possible, but we're only 1 hour into today, and already we're rushed for time, so we have to quickly get to the weather. Matthew, tell us all about it.
The Invaders is coming up after this. That's what we're in a hurry for.
For the 3 people still watching.
That's right. Yeah, they're in a hurry to get us off so the Invaders can come on. Let's take a look at the forecast. Today, partly sunny, the high -2 or 28. The outlook for Friday, tomorrow, little change. Currently, the humidity 71%. We have to wait for Don Cherry. But then the Invaders come on and we have to hurry up. Humidity 71, winds are west-northwest 26. The barometer rising, the present temperature -3, that's 28 Fahrenheit. Dan?
Okay, thank you, Matt. Recapping our top stories, Stelco's agreed to a Ministry of Labor order which requires the company to test employees for PCBs. As many as 1,000 employees in the Hilton Works could be tested. A 2-year-old boy from Sarnia has died of meningitis, but officials say there is no danger of an outbreak of the disease in the Sarnia area. Hamiltonians are being urged to take part in a recycling program beginning next week. Residents are asked to separate cans, glass, and paper. And our top story tonight, the Hamilton Board of Education is moving to eliminate overcrowding by building a new school on Hamilton Mountain within 2 years. It is the first new school to be built here in a decade. And that is TV 11 Newsroom, our late edition for last night and our early edition for today, or the earliest edition for the day.
Does this mean we don't have to do an edition at 6?
No, it doesn't mean that at all, Matt. We'll all be back.
You're going to be invaded by invaders, you know that, right?
That's right.
The boss is going to be invading you shortly.
That's right.
Well,
when he gets up.
We said at 6 o'clock that Biff and Buzz and I would all be back at 11 o'clock, and here we are.
No, it's Butch.
Oh, Butch.
It's Butch.
Oh.
I'm Butch, he's Biff.
And
you can be Buzz if you like.
I thought it was Buzz because of the electric razor. But anyway, we have to go. We're out of time. Hard to believe, but it's true. So for Matt and Dick and all of us at Newsroom, I'm Dan McLean. Good night.
Good night.
morning.
And starring in his own music video.
Okay, action.
May it please the court and the jury too. That's the crime of illusion. That's what's in front of you. My client is innocent. She's got the perfect alibi. While she was at her mother's, her husband killed the guy.
To me, there's very little difference from doing it in the courtroom for real and doing it today in this video. It's a goof both ways.
Golub is a successful, if somewhat unconventional, 43-year-old lawyer specializing in such celebrity clients as real estate tycoon Donald Trump and jeweler Harry Winston. Having made it at the bar, he's now trying to make it in showbiz.
You are my lawyer. I paid you the fee. The cops, they say it's murder in the first degree. Now you better get those jurors to disagree.
He's just completed his own 4-minute video, He Is My Lawyer, with his band, Power of Attorney.
Won't you please help me? I turned myself in at the city jail. Are you coming down to help me make bail?
Golub also produced a 12-inch dance record of He Is My Lawyer, which has sold more than 3,000 copies. He sloughs off criticism that rapping represents conduct unbecoming an attorney.
I'm as scholarly as any lawyer. Just because I'm doing something else with my life beside practicing law is not anything that's in derogation of my devotion to the law.
Golub and his cast are also making the nightclub scene, performing periodically at trendy Manhattan dance clubs.
Would you hire him as a lawyer?
Absolutely. We'll dance right into court together. While the jury is still out on his musical career, Golub is having a ball, and he's already planning the release of a second record to be entitled Dancing for Justice.
Stay tuned.
Richard Valeriani, NBC News, New York.
What next? Well, I guess Matt's next. That's the agenda reads that way anyway. So
I understand he's going on world tour, and he will be playing the county courthouse here in Hamilton on Main Street sometime in April. So
he'll do the celebrity weather wheel with you.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah,
I love it.
There's a lawyer, right?
There is a lawyer.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at this
Here
forecast.
is the weather. Yeah.
Here is the weather. That's right. Tomorrow, cloudy with a chance of light snow or freezing drizzle, the high 0 or 32. The outlook for Friday, partly cloudy. Currently, our humidity 82%. Winds are southeast at 7 kilometers per hour. The barometer is falling. The present temperature, -3. That's 26 Fahrenheit. Dan?
Recapping our top stories tonight, the Canadians have won the first rendezvous in Quebec City. Tonight, Dave Poulin deflected a shot with less than 2 minutes remaining to give the National Hockey League a 4-3 victory over the Soviets. It's reported the Israelis may be negotiating a deal that could lead to the release of a number of hostages. Newspaper reports in Israel say the negotiations involve a swap of an Israeli airman and the hostages for 400 jailed Muslims. The Mulroney government has found itself running last in the latest public opinion polls. A survey conducted by Angus Reid and Associates shows the Conservatives trailing the Liberals and the NDP by a wide margin. And our top story tonight, the United Steelworkers Local 1005 has slammed the Ontario Ministry of Labour for changing an order requiring testing of workers for PCBs. Only 40 workers will be tested instead of 1,000. And that is TV 11 Newsroom, our late edition for this Wednesday evening. Game 1 is over. As we've already discovered, it was won in the last couple of minutes of play. 4-3 the final score. And we said Robinson earlier, you corrected me afterward. It's Henderson that scored in 72. But it remains the same, right? It was a last-second arrangement.
Great hockey game. It was a better hockey game, actually, than I thought it would be. And the defense, no problems there at all. They held the Soviets to 5 shots on net in the first period.
Which do you think would be more popular, a game like this or an NHL final game?
It's hard to compare the two because you see you have your, say the Leafs made the Stanley Cup final. I mean, there's a lot of Leaf fans out there.
True.
But this one has nationalism involved in it, and I really enjoy hockey games like this.
National pride.
National pride, patriotism on the line. Yeah.
Not money.
Not money.
Makes a big difference.
There's
Anyway,
a bit of money involved. But
a little bit, perhaps, a little on the side. Anyway, our time is up. We have to go. We are back tomorrow at 6 and 11, and we certainly hope you are, too. By the way, thanks, Matt.
Yeah, for what?
Say goodnight now. We're out of time.
Yeah, I know. Gee, you know, I thought you guys were going to start a 90-minute show here. Hey, the Invaders is coming on. We got to make room for that, you know.
For Matt and Ken and all of us at Newsroom, I'm Dan McClain. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Good night, everybody.
Serving Hamilton, Toronto boasts assets of more than $120 billion. The growth in retirement and annuity income programs are credited for the huge profits. A provincial court judge says Toronto Hydro was careless in reporting leaks of toxic chemicals into the metro sewer system. As a result, the company was today fined $4,000 for the violations. And a 30-year-old Toronto astronomer will be immortalized for his discovery of a huge supernova in the Magellanic Cloud, 150,000 light years from Earth. Ian Shelton of the University of Toronto spotted the supernova by eye Monday night and later confirmed it by telescope at the University Observatory near Santiago, Chile. A supernova is a star which has collapsed upon itself and exploded. Supernova Shelton, as the star will be called, is the largest discovery of its kind since 1604. Well, looking at the weather for the next couple of days, I don't know if it has anything to do with a supernova, but we have another day of sunshine before it starts turning on us.
Yes, we do. We do have another day of sun, another day of mild temperatures, so I think what we should do is get outside and enjoy it. So let's have a look at that forecast again. Tomorrow, sunshine, a high of 0 or 32, probable precip 0. But the outlook for Friday, sunny in the morning, but becoming cloudy by afternoon, so that's why I say enjoy tomorrow. Currently, humidity is 60%. The winds from the west-northwest at 6 kilometers per hour. The barometer is rising. Temperature outside TV 11 newsroom has fallen now to -6 Celsius, 22 Fahrenheit. Dan?
Recapping tonight's news, new charges have been laid against a second suspect in the murder of an Alberta RCMP constable. 42-year-old Linda Marie Bowen is charged as an accessory in the killing. Hamilton police have cleared their books of all murder cases from 1986 with the arrest of 32-year-old Philip Vincent Sinwaski. Sinwaski is charged with manslaughter in connection with the shooting death of Alfonso Thompson last October. And our top story tonight, Hamilton insurance broker Dan McDonald will represent the federal Conservatives in the upcoming by-election on Hamilton Mountain. McDonald won the nomination tonight, defeating research scientist Vince Curtis. External Affairs Minister Joe Clark also attended the meeting and denounced opposition parties for conducting a so-called campaign of innuendo and slander against the Tory government. And that is TV 11 Newsroom, late edition for this evening and our time. We are back tomorrow, 6 and 11. We hope you can join us then. For Brian and Ken and all of us at Newsroom, I'm Dan McFlang. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.
Good night. Good night.
Intricately carved piece of walnut that allows the gondolier to work the oar from many positions. It is so beautifully made that it is now collected as sculpture. Some Venetians want to preserve the gondola and the gondolier, but most believe there is no turning back. The gondola is giving way to speed and efficiency, leaving behind the grace and beauty of form. But perhaps the greatest loss is this: the loss of human endeavor. Ed Rabel, NBC News, Venice.
Well, it is time now to check into the weather conditions for tomorrow, and it gets warmer as we sit here and speak almost.
Yes, it does, and it's going to be a very nice day tomorrow, let me tell you. Yes, we're going to have some clouds in the morning, otherwise clearing up for the afternoon. The high +3 or 38, a 20% chance of precipitation. The outlook for Friday, sunny and milder, the high +6 or 42. Currently, humidity 75%, the winds from the west-northwest at 10 kilometers per hour. Barometer rising, temperature outside TV 11 newsroom, -5 Celsius, 24 Fahrenheit. Dan?
Recapping our top stories tonight, Prime Minister Brian Mulroney conducted a campaign-like appearance at the University of Waterloo today. The Prime Minister declared Canada must take the initiative in the field of research and development. The police chief of Niagara Region has resigned. James Gator was facing 3 charges under the Police Act. He is taking early retirement. A report to be made public tomorrow will recommend a major restructuring of Hamilton's political system, and Halton Regional Council voted in special session tonight to recommend Burlington as the site of the new landfill. And tonight's top story, Ronald Reagan has humbly admitted responsibility for the Iran arms scandal. Reagan says he let his concern for the hostages cloud his judgment, promising to be more vigilant in the future. And that is TV 11 Newsroom, our late edition for this evening. And as always, we're back tomorrow at 6 and 11. Hope you can join us. We've recapped our weather. Let's recap sports. Dick looks like he has
sports
something
has to
final
do
here.
with Brian Wood and the weather, Dan.
Yeah.
Major Chinook in Alberta. They've had Chinooks all year. It's now 20 degrees above in Alberta.
Wow.
And there's snow that's melting, and there's rocks on the course where they'll try to get in the world's women downhill on Saturday. 20 degrees, not bad.
20 degrees, wow. Okay, on that note, we're going to say good night. Back again tomorrow. We'll see you then. For Brian and Dick and all of us at Newsroom, I'm Dan McClain. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.